Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Coin. Today, we will be talking about investments and investment strategies, how we make wise investment decisions, and where that takes us. I know a lot of us think about our future. Kingsley and I would do that. We think about our future and trying to make future investments for our older selves. And I know a lot of people, think about investing in maybe their kids and hoping for a good return on their investment later in years.
Right.
Some think about employer pensions, different forms of investments, some things about real estate or some businesses. And I know, Kingsley, you do a lot of stock trading. Some people kind of put a lot of money in stocks. And the rate right now is the Bitcoin, right? And so I know, Kingsley, you do a lot of stocks, and sometimes you've got very good return on some stocks and some not
That's
very
right.
good. So
Yeah, life in of itself, I think, is about investment. I mean, everything we do in life, we go to school, we're investing for our future somehow. We learn a
correct.
trade; it's also part of investment. We at some point in our lives, when we start making money, we may start thinking about seeing how our money can work for us, so that the time that we stop working, we can still have something to fall back on. Like Caroline, you just said, you talked about different types of investment. Yes, I do stock trading, and I've been doing that now for several years now. Sometimes I win, yes, sometimes I lose, but again, it's part of investment. You look at the risk and the benefit, and then you ask yourself, if I don't invest, what will it land me? Okay, if I invest, I stand a chance.
Yeah,
So
that kind of reminds me of someone I spoke with like some years back. This was at church back in Houston. I was actually at Lakewood, and this lady, I think it was kind of grit and meat, and she was telling me how she's just got back from work and she's gonna plan for school, and I'm like, oh, you're doing work and school at the same time? She's yeah, she's a nurse. She said, I've always dreamt of being a medical doctor, and so I'm going back to school for medicine so I can become a doctor. I'm like, oh wow, how long is that gonna take you? She said it's gonna take her 7 years. And I'm like, oh wow, that's a long time. You really wanna invest all that time when you already have a good career? She's like, yeah, but if I don't do anything, I'm still gonna be here 7 years from now. I'm still gonna be exactly where I am today.
true,
And that kind of hit me like, wow, that's really a lesson to learn. To not
absolutely.
hold off in doing something, even though it may look small, it may be like little steps, but down the road there's gonna be some change that you're
There's a
gonna get. So
reward,
there's a reward, right?
definitely.
And so yes, because we get put off sometimes when we say that, oh, it's gonna take 5 years, it's gonna
Yeah,
take 7 years,
yeah,
10, 20, I can put it off, and then 10 years down the road, you're exactly where you were 10 years
that
ago.
is
You've
true.
done nothing.
There
Mhm.
is like what you just said reminds me of a Chinese adage that says the best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago, and that the next best time is now. So, which means no matter when you start to invest, you're still going to have some reward if you're able to take the risk. In many cases, especially if it is calculated risk, like people lose money in stock or in several investments when they don't do their due diligence, when they don't do their homework, when they don't take time to study how to actually invest and make gain. This brings us to another kind of investment. Yes, we're talking investment, we're talking risk and reward, or risk versus benefit. The Bible is so complete in that it talks about both the temporal investments that we make here and also the spiritual investments that we make, that can help us not just here but also help us in the hereafter. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today. If we'll take our text from the book of Matthew chapter 25, from I think it's verse 31 to 46. Caroline, can you just share
Yeah,
with us what that
absolutely.
story is about?
Because Kingsley and I, we kind of pattern our lives around these three principles, or I call them three S's. You spend some, you save some, and you share some. And so that's really what we're talking about today. And so now we're going to focus on the saving and the sharing part. And so that's the scripture you just kind of reference. It's actually about Jesus at the end of time, saying he's gonna call, set up his throne, and then he's gonna call his followers to himself, and he's gonna separate them, some to the left and some to the right. The right to turn them the sheep, kind of like a metaphor, and then the left is gonna be the goats, and he's gonna say to the ones on the right, the sheep, and say, Here's your reward, because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you visited me. And, yeah, when I was in prison, you visited me.
Mhm.
And then they will respond and say to him, but Lord, when did we see you and do all of this? And he said, when you do it to the least of this, my brethren, the least of this, my brothers, you have done it for me.
True.
So yeah, he said, when you do it to the marginalized, to the ignored, to the one that can probably not reward you for doing something for them, you have done it for me, the least amongst us,
That's
the
amazing.
homeless, yeah,
That is
the
amazing.
poor, yeah. So, when you do it to any of these folks, that you have done it for me. And then the ones on his left, he's gonna say to them, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was sick, you didn't visit me. When I was in prison, you didn't visit me. And they're gonna say, but Lord, when did we see you and we didn't do all of this? And he will tell them the same thing. When you did not do it to the least of this, my brethren,
you did not
do it to me. Kingsley, can you expand on that
You
for
know,
viewers?
that is really amazing. It means that from what I'm getting, it means that as long as we're alive, opportunities abound for us to prepare for our future, the future that is beyond the 80, 90, 100 years we're going to spend here, but the future which is eternity, which means all of us pretty much have equal playing ground. It's not. It didn't say, I
How
need
much?
I need so amount for me to be able to. It's in relationships. Number one, that we're able to do that, and in loving our neighbors as ourselves. Like you see somebody hungry, you see someone maybe a beggar on the street, you see a brother or a sister, you see even a stranger.
A stranger,
a stranger.
A stranger.
Jesus
Especially people that
is.
can't even repay you.
That is
That's
correct.
the list of these that may never even say thank you to you.
That is correct. So Jesus, we encounter Jesus in our day-to-day dealings. As we walk around, as we interact, Jesus is before our very presence every day. He's in the people that we meet on our day-to-day, and he's providing us opportunity to invest in those people so that we can build up treasures in heaven. It says, let's not just focus alone on building treasures here on earth where things mess it up, moths corrupt it, and it's not enduring, but that we should build treasures in heaven that will last us in eternity. And we have that opportunity every day. It's amazing, Caroline. I don't know about you. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why we're bringing this to our viewers, just to remind us that, we really have to be intentional sometimes.
True.
In making sure we are fulfilling this, I won't call it a cheat code, this strategies that Jesus is telling us. You know what I mean? It's not so that it won't be a surprise to us on that day to say, Lord, did we ignore you? Did we do what you want us to do? Or were we just sitting and just spending all? Like I said, we want to make sure our resources, we're spending some, of course.
True.
We're sharing some, and of course we're saving some.
True.
And so we want to make sure that even when we do share, let's make sure we also share in the things that matter to Jesus the most, because that's what he said he's gonna ask us, on that last day. So let's make conscious effort to make sure we're not ignoring the marginalized, the downtrodden, or the least amongst us. I'm sure God, there's a way we are surrounded with some of those in our day-to-day lives.
That's true.
Or in our sphere of contact. God brings them our way sometimes, so let's make sure we do not ignore them when God brings such our way.
God loves them deeply. So when we take the resources He's given to us and take care of those people, it's like we're lending to God. Right? Bible says, he that gives to the poor lends to God. And God pays great dividend when you take care of his own. You take care of his sons and his daughters. You take care of all the people he's even waiting for to come to glory, to get to know him. You take care of everyone, his creation. God is pleased about that, and he has promised he will pay great dividend that will last for eternity.
Either gives to the poor, lends to God. And like you said, we're going to reap a great reward. Not just here or even in the world to come.
That is
So
correct.
yeah, so this is, we're going to wrap it up from here. I hope you were encouraged. I hope you were inspired, and I hope this will help you also to move ahead and look out for the least amongst us, and make sure that we're doing what Jesus would want us to do. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. If you love this channel, please share with your friends and your loved ones, and of course we'd like you to kind of look out for subsequent videos. Thanks for watching again. Bye.
Thanks, guys. It's been wonderful sharing with you again. Bye bye.